Hello and welcome to the Understable Podcast, episode number 54. I am Brandon and I'm joined by my co-host, Mark. Say hello.
Mark, what's up, everybody? Glad to be back in the booth.
It's been a busy summer. The Disc Golf Pro Tour has raged on. But yeah, how are you doing, Mark?
Outside of having to work tomorrow, I'm doing great.
Yeah, what time
Really
are you going
good,
today?
actually.
I mean, it's going to feel like today.
So normally I work nights, but I have to work tomorrow morning. I have to leave at about 4:15 to get to work.
4:15 a.m.
A.M. Yeah.
So basically, like 6 hours from now, at the time of this recording, 7
Yeah,
hours.
7 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, solid, man.
that's fine.
Solid.
I slept most of the day, so we're good.
Totally solid. Yes. So today we're going to be recapping Worlds a little bit. Lots of exciting stuff happening there. Changing of the guard on one side, and then I won't dive too much into MPO because we're going to talk about it pretty extensively. But before we get into all of that, social media shout out. Mark, where
Yes.
can they find you?
All right, guys. You can find me personally on YouTube at @markboonstra_disc golf. You can find me on Instagram at mark.boonstra. And as always, you can find the Understable Podcast at the Understable Podcast on YouTube. So check all of us out. Brandon, what about you?
You can find me on YouTube at @0_BLS. That is for Pokemon content. If you are interested in competitive Pokemon content, I post battle videos there, ranked, casual, whatever it may be. And then you can find me on Instagram. That's where all my disc golf stuff goes. That's Brandon L. Schmucker on Instagram. That's
Yes, and also you can find us on Discord at the Understable Podcast on Discord. Please, please, please go like us on Discord or subscribe to our channel there, or whatever, and join the fellowship, join the community and
the
chat with
fellowship.
us.
Is that a D&D thing, the fellowship?
No, there's a content creator on YouTube that has a thing called the Fellowship, so I just got confused for a moment.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
kind of tired. Anyway, quick sponsors. I want to give a huge shout out to Catalyst Disc Golf for sponsoring me this year. She makes awesome resin minis, custom. Yeah, Brandon, what about you?
Shout outs to Disc Baron for sponsoring me. Use code 71353 at checkout, discbaron.com for a little bit of cash off of your order. Hoping to keep the relationship going strong with them as well going into next year, I'm hoping.
Hopefully.
It's been a slow year for disc golf for me, but we have the team party in a few weeks. And
Get on it.
I'm gonna be there.
Good. All right, so let's just jump into the meat and potatoes of the main course, right?
Let's do it.
Worlds 2024. Brand new courses to the tour, relatively new courses in general. What are your thoughts on Ivy Hill and New London?
I thought they were great. I thought they were really, really great. I loved the challenge that the courses brought on. I think earlier in the contest, I think people were turning in like 6s and 7s, and that was pretty much it. Like nobody was playing clean. I think hole 1 at Ivy Hill was kind of eating people alive all week. And I mean, like, how many bogeys did we see on that hole? That easily had to be one of the hardest holes on the course.
Yeah, it had a lot of OB on it. I believe left and right side. It required a good golf shot is what it required, and that's one of the biggest props I have to both Paul Macbeth and the rest of the crew that put these two courses in is they made great golf courses.
Yes.
Even playing Ivy Hill on a golf course itself, they utilized the property very well, I thought.
Yeah, and Ivy Hill, had a lot of ropes. I know I feel like ropes are kind of controversial, right? But there's also elevation changes as well. Like a lot of, tossing downhill, a lot of ropes kind of in the circle, which I think a lot of people don't love. A lot of ace runs turning into OB, especially late in the rounds at Ivy Hill. But overall, I thought the courses were great. Yeah, I think something could be said about the ropes, but they had to be put in. It's not like USDGC where I feel like the course can't exist without them, but I don't know. I digress. What do you think?
I don't know, ropes. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on how they mark off OBs and hazards. They need to be marked off one way or another.
They do. I don't love them because
no, I don't think I've ever played with them.
Yeah, at Ledgestone.
Okay. Yeah, I've never experienced them on a course. It's always been flags or painted lines.
Yeah, no, we had ropes at Ledgestone, which, I mean, Ledgestone was a great event because I played Eureka Temp, and there's ropes there.
Okay.
It makes sense because a couple of the fairways play directly along each other. So they rope them off OB, but I don't know. A place like USDGC, I just feel like that event has outgrown that venue, and I don't see them changing it up anytime soon. But they're always introducing something like the cheese sticks and all those stupid things.
Yeah, tell me about it. But like ace runs and close OB, I love it. I love the idea of the risk versus reward.
Yeah,
that brings a challenge into disc golf. I mean, if you just sit there and throwing 400-foot bombs every single shot to a wide open green, it takes all of the skill out of disc golf.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of what hole it was at Ivy Hill. I think it might be 12. Where they're teeing way up high and they're throwing way downhill, and the rope is probably 20 feet behind the basket. But there's a lot of people ace running the basket, but pretty much every single time they're going OB. I think it's 12.
Interesting.
It's 12.
Oh, I don't remember what hole is what, so
I'm pretty sure because we'll talk about it more. But
now,
Isaac,
if you have, there. Oh yeah, okay, I remember what you're talking about. Now, if you have OB inside the circle, I'm not a big fan of that itself. If you actually put OB inside the circle, but if there's a reason for it, then I'm 100% for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
it created an interesting challenge, like on that hole, especially that I'm referring to. That was a more welcome design because without it, it's like, where's the challenge? You know what I mean? The guys are just gonna throw big hyzers at it, but
right.
It's like a perfect example, like when Isaac went at that basket, came in like so close to the ace, and then flew out of bounds, and then Nicholas Antilla put it nice and low, and just kind of was like, "Here's," you know what I mean? It was like, "Here's how you do it." Nice low screamer, came up a little bit short, but it was like beautiful.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the technicalities of the course. It's one of the topics to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the putter challenge with Paul Macbeth and Anthony Barella. They went and played Ivy Hill, and they played FPO layout, mind you, so a little bit easier. A
little shorter.
But all they brought was Lunas. They did a putter challenge on Ivy Hill, FPO. AB shot 8 down.
Yeah.
Just throwing putters. And that'll segue later into my amateur approach.
Yes.
That we get into.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I really enjoyed watching coverage. I thought both courses were well designed. They were very well manicured, if you will, and they had good challenge on both sides of it.
Yeah.
One of the things said on coverage for Ivy was the only course they could compare it to was Toboggan. And guess where they're at? Toboggan.
Yeah.
So just a lot of elevation, and it was great. I loved it.
Late in the season too. I wonder how they're feeling about Michigan in September. It's probably going to be very pleasant for the pros. I mean, it's nice here right now. It's really nice.
It was humid yesterday during round 1. Today had a little bit of wind. They did have a lightning delay yesterday.
It's been like 70 degrees. I mean,
that's perfect.
We had like one spell of we had like an 85 degree day yesterday, so that would have been round 1 Thursday.
Yep.
But it's been 70 degrees. Like fall is pretty much here, honestly, in Michigan. Sad to say.
Beautiful. I love it.
The 80 degree days, they're going to be few and far between now, which makes me sad, but oh well. Fall disc golf is the best disc golf.
Yes. Is there anything specific that you took away from Ivy Hill or New London? I know they didn't really play New London much. They played 2 rounds there.
New London's an interesting one because they're going to lose a bunch of holes now after this
I think
event.
they're trying to save it.
Yeah, because
trying to petition to save it because of how well the course is.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much guaranteed they're going to lose like a few of the holes on the back side of the course, which I think is a shame. Obviously, I mean, I think we had this drama with Yarva Disc Golf course, didn't we? Didn't they? They wanted to take down Yarva Disc Golf course and turn it into something, but I think we had a petition for that. I feel like I remember signing that. No, I mean, I thought they were both great courses for the event. Ivy Hill, second half, hole 17, awesome, iconic. Could be like a new iconic disc golf hole. Much like 17 at like Ledgestone or 17 at USDGC. I think it's up there in iconic Pro Tour holes. I would love. I'm hoping the schedule's released. Are we coming back to Ivy Hill next year?
I don't believe so. I have to look at the schedule now.
I feel like we'll go back. I think the Pro Tour will go back sooner than later.
I hope so. Great course. Like I said, it really challenges the players, I thought.
Yeah. First half of Ivy Hill, a little softer.
Yep.
You know, we'll talk about how Isaac kind of went about that in the second half of the course. A lot tougher. Closer ropes, some farther holes, OB around the basket a lot more often. I thought they were great courses. What do you think?
Yeah, same. I mean, I know we've kind of hit on that. One hole that really sticks out to me is I think it might have been 12 or 14. It's got the basket on the side of the hill. It's on the back 9. Where Angela hit high and it rolled like 50 feet.
Yeah,
I think 14. That's great because that's one of those perfectly designed holes that challenges your ability.
Yeah.
What do? Do you lay up and match the slope and just take the easy tap in, or do you run it and risk the big roll away?
I mean,
I think down the stretch, if you're down 1 or 2 strokes, you don't have a choice but to run that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's early on, you lay up and you tap that in all day.
Our boy Luke Taylor, Michigan guy.
Yeah.
Couple highlight putts on that hole. He owned that hole,
he
didn't
did.
he? Yeah. Look those up if you haven't seen them already. They were beautiful. He hit those from probably like 60 feet.
I think he's one of the he's a new tour player.
He's a newer tour player, yeah.
But I think he's going to be someone to watch out for.
He's been tearing it up around here, like relentlessly tearing it up around here.
Good. Yeah, but like I said, I think the courses were great. I don't think I could recommend any changes to either of them.
Not really. I think they did a good job.
Yeah. Good job, crew out there in Virginia.
Yeah.
All right. What are your thoughts on Isaac Robinson going wire to wire at Worlds?
Well, I feel like wire to wire is an interesting take. I mean, it was technically wire to wire, but there was a point. Okay, so Isaac Robinson, in his post-round interview, he said, my plan was to put the gas on front 9 and then make them catch me back 9 and make mistakes, which mostly happened last round. Mostly happened. He had a 3-stroke lead going in, right? He doubled his lead by the time he got to 9. He was 6 strokes up. And he wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. He was just playing solid golf. He was hitting all of his putts. He was hitting fairways. And then I don't know what happened, but things slowly started derailing. On hole 9, OB stroke. Hole 10, Hole 10, OB stroke. One of those was a 2-stroke swing. And then hole 11, I believe hole 9, 10, hole 12, another OB stroke. So
that's the one that goes back uphill, right?
12 goes downhill.
Okay, what's the one that goes? There's one that goes back uphill that he OB'd late in the round that had the island green. Because Kelvin went OB on it. And Kelvin missed the green altogether. Isaac.
He flipped that disc Yeah, because he was going for the hyzer angle. Then he put it out almost on Annie, and it had tons of fight back, but it was just barely out of bounds.
Well, he landed inbounds, and we'll get to this shot in a minute because this leads into something we discussed on our last episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue, sir.
I'm trying to remember what hole that's either 13 or 15, but I don't think it was 15 because things once 14 hit, things really started coming back in his favor, and it finally started getting away from Nicholas Antela. So 14, Isaac lays up for par, and it was a sketchy layup too. It had an Annie on it, so he's coming from the left side of the green, puts an Annie on it, stands up like it's gonna roll away, and then just hits a tuft of dirt and sits. And you could even see the reaction on his dad's face when that happened. His dad could not believe that he had done that.
Right.
And then the putt you were alluding to a little earlier, Nicholas Antela sends it from 40 feet, super uphill, hits a little bit high, but still center, spits out and rolls back, 70 feet? And all of a sudden he's throwing a layup for par. It wasn't even a layup. I think he was trying to throw it in, but losing a stroke at that point when he should have been gaining one was tough. And then that was kind of
sealed the deal for Isaac.
That sealed the deal. And Isaac was not free of mistakes.
No, not at all. We've seen this multiple times.
Yeah.
We've seen this a few times this year.
Hole 17, they both went out of bounds, and Isaac went first and threw out of bounds, and that was another chance for Nicholas to take a stroke. Nicholas had his chances. He definitely did. 14 really was a little unfair, kind of did him in, but he had his chances and he didn't capitalize. But it was a great battle.
It was a good chess match, I thought.
It was.
It wasn't so much back and forth, but it was very tight right to the end.
Yeah,
it's good.
Isaac had a game plan and he executed. He said he was going to crush the front nine, which he did.
Yep.
And then he said he was going to make him catch me on the back nine, which
and they caught him.
Technically, he did force them to make mistakes, but he also made some of his own. So he made it a little more interesting than it had to be. But congrats to him, back to back.
Yes. Here's one of the things I absolutely love about Isaac. He's not a bomber. No. He doesn't have the distance of Calvin or AB or Gannon or these big throwers. What he does is he dissects the course kind of like Scoggins does. Mm-hmm. He plays conservative but aggressive at the same time.
Yes.
Just like we were talking earlier with Toboggan, hole 3 or 4, 915 foot. He birdied it by throwing mid-range, then tapping in a birdie.
Yeah.
900-foot hole, and he's throwing mids.
Yes.
And he's birdieing it. Par 4.
You know who else is like this style? Isaac's style reminds me of Kale LaVisca. Like the way he, not like his physical style of like throwing, but like how he dissects holes, how he goes, he doesn't take crazy risks. He's just a smart golfer. And that's like that's his biggest strength. He doesn't show off, He just goes there and does his job essentially and plays good golf.
And the other big component to this is Isaac's bag is so fine-tuned. Mm. I mean, that bag is dialed into every shot he needs, and it's perfect. And I was watching Toboggan coverage today, and they were talking about how a lot of pros only have 5 or 6 molds in their bag. I mean, go back to our interview with Johnny.
Yeah.
He's got, 8 molds in his bag? He's got like 4 different ballistas, 3 different Saints, just same mold, just different runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's a critical thing for players to do. You don't think you need 20 different molds. You don't have to have a disc for every shot. You have to learn how to control the disc for the shot you need to throw.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, there's another amateur tip for you right there.
Yeah, amateur tip. Find a nice stable disc, not overstable. Find a nice stable disc to work in and build your bag around that.
Exactly. So the other thing I want to throw out there is if anybody from Prodigy listens to this, please give Isaac a nice contract. He deserves it. He's earned it. Don't want to see him go anywhere.
He had an attitude about him this weekend or last weekend actually it's 2 weekends ago at this point because we had CCR in between this and Worlds.
Yes.
He had an attitude about him at Worlds that he just wouldn't be denied. You know what I mean? Like, he walked on like the World Championship was for him and for him alone, and it was like his right to have it, and that's how he played, which was pretty cool, honestly. And like, I respect that, but it's like, because he hasn't had the craziest year until now.
No, he's been very slow. He's a down the stretch kind of guy. He did the same thing last year.
Yeah.
He had a slow start, and if you remember in our fantasy group, I traded him partway through the season. What happened? Turns around, lights it up.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing well at D-Glow too right now.
Yeah, he's one behind Gannon for the lead.
Mm-hmm. I need Gannon
smoked it round one, went 10 down with 12 birdies.
Yeah.
Round one.
Yep.
So he's just very confident in his game and in his bag is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm thinking is that the whole Kevin Jones and Vino deals, I think they did that intentionally to also free up revenue for Isaac and Ezra. Because even Ezra's playing very well this year too.
Yeah, he is. He had the course record at Ivy Hill.
Yeah, he did.
10? Yeah, 10 down,
and
right?
If either one of them leave Prodigy, I think Prodigy's done. They have nobody. They haven't signed anybody. There's nobody else.
It's true.
Really out there. So
it's
I think
tough, though,
they need to make a big move.
You got a 2-time world champion now. At this point, it's like, what else do you need? You know what I mean? But sometimes personality helps.
If somebody comes in and offers Isaac $1 million a year,
yeah, he would be smart to take
Prodigy is going to need to either match that or give him something comparable to think about.
Especially now, 2 world titles. He deserves.
Yep.
He deserves to be paid. So
I'm not saying he needs $1 million a year, but that's the point. The point is somebody's going to come in at the end of his contract and offer him a big amount. Prodigy needs to step up and either match it or do better.
Well, who's getting paid $1 million a year though?
Paul, Simon, Ricky.
Ricky's got 2 world championships, man.
Simon has 0.
I'm just saying, Simon's got 0. Isaac's an elite company now, man.
Here's the thing with Simon. He might have 0 titles, but his social media presence brings in sales.
Yep, that's true, and that's an important thing. Look at Brody. Brody's he's not having a good year on the pro tour, but Brody could come to your town and smash your local A tier. You know what I mean? He's a good player. He's a good player, but personality. He's got a little bit of both.
Right. So, yeah, I think it was good on Isaac. He came in confident, and he did what had to be done to go back to back.
Yeah, he did.
So, all right. Referencing our last episode, talked about some of the rules changes and the potential for instant replay.
Yeah.
I think it needs to happen. It needs to happen now. Here's why. As we were talking about that throw that Isaac had to hit the green and then bounced OB, I think it's 14, 15, somewhere down the stretch. The card was very split on what happened. And in that situation, benefit goes to the player.
Yeah.
So clearly on coverage, Isaac's disc came in on hyzer, hit inbounds, then just kicked backwards out of bounds.
Yep.
Had the party gone 3-1 against Isaac, he would have been forced to go to the drop zone, which would have been the wrong call. If you could throw in an instant replay for situations like that, then there'd be no question about what happened.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I don't know how we would implement it. It would take a lot of brainstorming, and it would take, it would be a process to get and to make perfect. But I do think it is something that needs to be done. And especially for like feature cards, honestly, like especially feature cards in an event like this. I don't know if maybe there's some sort of scale they could use to determine, but it does need to happen at some point in some capacity.
Right.
To be able to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how if there's a way they could use the footage that, they're live streaming. Sure. And
you could pull up, Disc Golf Network, because on shots like that, they do replays.
Right.
And it could be a situation where the broadcast goes to a media timeout, if you will.
Right.
goes to a break, and then they replay for the card members what happened. You know, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of cards decisions.
Yeah. Like,
so
imagine a world where, like, in the NFL, I know we make comparisons to pro sports a lot here, but, you know, you want disc golf to be treated like a sport. I mean, it is a sport, but imagine a world in the NFL where players got the benefit of the doubt and we didn't use instant replay. Things would be more interesting, like that Ravens and Chiefs game, you know, yesterday. At the time of this recording, it was yesterday. Isaiah Likely was out on the game-tying touchdown by literally a toe. They gave him on the field. They called it a touchdown. Went to instant replay, and the clock zeroed out, mind you, on this play, and ended the game. He was out by a toe, you know? We should be able to do that for disc golf, too, if you know, because that stuff could matter.
Yeah, but my only negative to instant replay is now it brings politics into the sport. How much has football changed since they brought in instant replay?
I think pace of play would be the biggest thing affected if they did it. But, I mean, how long is a round of golf? You know what I mean? How long do they play around at the Masters?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a slog.
You're talking 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a slog, man.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think they need to bring it in some capacity for certain situations. Situational thing.
I think we'll eventually get there, honestly, but I don't know. I don't know when that is or how they're going to do it. But I mean, if enough people buy into the subscription, I think you're going to see it eventually.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be great for growing a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Would help.
Honestly, I think so.
It would also help in the fairness of the game and
taking
out the essentially the biased opinions of the calls.
Yeah, because you don't want to make those calls against someone that you enjoy. All those guys probably, enjoy each other as human beings.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. If Gannon and Isaac are neck and neck for the World Championship and Gannon calls him out and that's what they go with, even though it's the wrong call, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
You're trusting people's judgment and character to make the right call, and humanity's proven time and time again that we don't make the right decisions most of the time.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll get there eventually, and I think it'll be a good change. I just wonder how it's going to affect pace of play for the pros.
Baskets for the Worlds. There are veterans. I think they had veterans at one and Innovas at the other. No, what did they have? I know they had Innovas at Ivy.
Those were horrible.
You think so? They were the new 28 chain, I thought.
Well, we had so many spit outs on 14. So many.
But why? Was it the basket or was it the putt was too high or too low or left or right?
Well, you could.
The one with Antela, obviously he hit chains, but he hit high and it spit out.
But did you see the one Proctor's? That's the worst spit out and roll away I've ever seen in my entire life. In my entire time of playing disc golf, I've never seen something that bad. It was a literal tap in, and he hit it on the sweet spot too. Bounced backwards, rolled down the hill, and rolled OB, which is like,
I don't think I saw that.
It is horrible. I feel like I saw a bunch of putts like that on hole 14. I don't think they were great. But what did you think?
Yeah, it just goes to our discussion, a little while ago about standardizing the basket.
Yeah. No,
you make one tour standard basket, and that's what you run with.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about I'm playing Innova this week or this round, and next round I could be playing on DGAs or somebody else. It's the same basket.
Yeah.
Every single event.
Yeah. If any of you guys haven't seen the Proctor rollaway, go look it up. It's dumb. It's so dumb. I mean that's the one thing I had for baskets was the rollaways, the spit outs, but that happens. I mean, it does. It wasn't last week because our friend Kevin was down here. We went to play Idlewild. Good time. 2 weeks ago today, I did a doubles match for league. I did all 30 holes. So the front 16 were the short course. Then it split into the back 14, which were the tougher part.
I offered 3 mulligans for $3 per player.
Mm-hmm.
So hole 4 on the red course, the short course, hole 4 is less than 200 feet. I usually just throw a subtle turnover and let it, crash in. Threw my PA4 first, missed the basket right side, so I grabbed my new fractal PA3, threw that, hit dead center on the basket. I mean, it couldn't have been more center. Center height, I mean, it was, you put a bullseye, I hit the bullseye
Right.
on the basket. Hit the pole and kicked out. So I was a little upset about an ace that was not.
Yeah.
But oh well. I mean, again, it's end of the baskets. I don't like end of the baskets, period.
I like them.
I think they're one of the worst baskets out there.
Those are my favorite baskets. I don't like chain stars. I don't like the 3-ring chain stars, and it kind of sucks because all of my courses are like in the area. I live in Michigan, so we're in discraft country. All the local courses are getting the 3-star or the 3-ring chain stars, which I don't enjoy.
Right.
I got a nasty spit out on the Prodigy, the blue Prodigy baskets at Lake Arvista. I got a video of it too. You remember that one?
Yeah.
I threw it dead center.
Yeah, it's on your Instagram.
Should have been an ace.
But it wasn't. But I hit absolute dead center. You couldn't have been more center on my shot. Center height, center off the pole. I mean, everything was perfect. I knew out of my hand it was going to hit the basket. And I went to turn around because that's in, and I caught on my peripheral that it hit and spit. I'm like, no. I was so bummed.
I know, man. I know the feeling.
Because we had an ace hit 2 holes prior to that, so I was trying to split the pot.
Yep.
So, no, but it's all good.
I get it. I know. I've been there.
No, but I think if I had to pick a basket for my favorite, it's a toss up between the Prodigy green ones and the mock X's.
I've never had trouble with the green Prodigies. We got those up in a course in the Rockford area here in Michigan, and those have been pretty good to me. But the blue ones, they don't like me that much.
Which one's that? That's Cortland, right? Yeah, Cortland has green.
Cortland has
green and blue.
Lake Arvista has blue. Just the blue ones, and those ones, I haven't figured those out really. I mean, outside of slamming it into the middle, but like as far as putting goes, yeah. As far as putting goes, I know I got to slam it in the middle, but those ones don't really like my putts as much as the green ones.
Right. So, what else you want to talk about?
Well, I think before we wrap this up, we need to give the amateur approach.
We do. So, for those that have been longtime listeners, I used to do the segment of Pro Tips of Patrick Gray. Well, as you guys have known for the last 2 years, Patrick is no longer part of the show. Won't go into that, but we've been trying to come up with a new name for this segment where we give a tip, a suggestion, a thing to do as newer players or even experienced players. Mm-hmm. We're calling this the amateur approach from here forward. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I did, I went and played Echo Valley Golds last week or 2 weeks ago. I went and played Echo Golds. It's the tougher layout. I shot a +8, which is a massive PR. I think my best prior to that was like 16, 17, 18, something like that. So I really shot a good PR.
Yeah.
And I went into the course with the mindset that I'm not going to birdie these holes. So let me play for par. And sure enough, I did not get a single birdie. But I threw a ton of putters. I threw my PA4, my Dayglow, I think it's 167 PA4, a lot. Mm-hmm. And I did that for the simple fact of getting confident with slow speed discs and figuring out what I'm doing wrong to improve my game as a whole. With our last episode, with your amateur approach of don't go by the grip bags, don't go by the destroyers, stick to slower stuff. Mm-hmm. Get out and throw putters, guys. Throw your putters.
Yeah.
Do putter only rounds. Throw putters, throw mid ranges. Just learn your control first. Disc golf's not about throwing 400-foot bombs. There's times where it's needed, yes, but overall, take the Isaac Robinson approach. Throw slow speed. Take your placement shots.
When you learn how to throw straight, that is when the game changes for you. That and when you learn how to putt. But putting is also throwing straight. That is what you do when you putt. You're throwing straight. I mean, there's exceptions, the old Yuli Annie putt, but we don't talk about that. When you learn to throw straight, the game just gets straight. Like you look at the angles, you look at a fairway and you realize how straight everything really is on a disc golf course. Obviously there's we got our hyzers and our anhyzers and our sidearm shots and stuff, but learning to throw straight is done by throwing putters. Throwing putters helps you master your angles, helps you master your timing, because if your timing's bad, your putter's gonna come out of your hand on a drive all wobbly, might turn it a little bit. That's how you master your angles and your timing. Bad timing is how you get wobble when throwing a putter off the tee. I'm gonna piggyback off of saying throw a putter early round. Obviously, yes, you should do that a couple times, or not just a couple. You should do that a few times a year if you're serious about the game. But I really want to hammer home in the spring when things melt, it starts warming up a little bit. When you really want to get back in the groove, that is the best time to throw your putter only round. Get yourself warmed up for the season. Putter only round.
Yep.
I had a similar story to you. I went to Orangeville here in Michigan, and I was like, I'm planning to play putters only. The course has like 3 or 4 pins for every single hole, but they rotate them, and you never know when they're going to change them. So I rolled up with just 2 putters. Just 2.
Oh, wow.
That's it. I didn't bring anything but 2 putters, 2 AVRs, and the course was in all longs. I was like, well, I don't have any other discs. So I played, I think I got 1 birdie, but I felt so good. Like, score aside, because the score wasn't good, but I really felt the connection to my putters by the time I hit the back 9. I felt so good about throwing straight, my timing, everything. It was such a nice, it propelled me into the season. It really, truly did. So, yeah. That was a great amateur approach from you.
So, yeah, guys, and even if you're mid-season and you just hit a slump and you're just don't have the confidence, just go out to your local course and just throw your putter out. Mm-hmm. Go on the field and throw putters. Just get that groove back, get that rhythm back, get that feel back.
Yep.
It'll help. Promise.
Yeah, it will.
So, and with that, until next time, let's keep it in the fairway.